Okay, I just hit record. So I think straight away, easily the worst film in the Star Wars series. Sorry, we're talking about Phantom Menace, Episode 1 of Star
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah,
Now, it's easily the worst episode in the series.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
so bad. It's okay, so the beginning, right? The beginning is fine. The first act is fine.
Yeah,
And like, oh, you got your scrolling, and hey, there are these two planets or countries or whatever. That's how I took it anyway. Two
yeah.
countries that want to trade with each other, but the trade, what was it, the trade rebels or something like that, like the something.
Trade Federation.
The Trade Federation was like, hey, stop it, and then, um, that was a whole thing, and then they sent two Jedi Knights, Qui Gon Jinn and Obi Wan, played by Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, to stop it. And then right at the beginning, they're like, "Ha, we're not going to talk to you. We're just going to kill you." And they knew that right away. And so they're like, "Hey, stop." and uh, and then a bunch of droids died. And then Jar Jar Binks comes along for like comedic relief or whatever, but Jar Jar Binks isn't funny. So it's weird to have comedic relief if the comedian isn't funny.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. What about you?
yeah. Well, yeah, he's definitely just there for children. But
Yes.
it's pretty stupid. His character is really stupid. Speaking of characters really suck in this film. Like every character.
Yep.
Did you? Were there any characters for you that you like actually liked?
I think I mean not really. I think um I didn't like Natalie Portman at all in this film. Um she was terrible. Who's that one flying fella that had slaves? Like Anakin and his mom were slaves.
Watto,
I
the
hated him so
weird
much.
elephant nose.
Yeah, him. I didn't like him at all. Um, I had subtitles on for most of the film because I
So you
couldn't
could actually
understand.
understand what Jar Jar Binks was saying.
I had to like Misa scared. Like, stop it. Um,
All right. A lot of people like the third act of the film. Specifically, they like the lightsaber fight. What did you think of the third act?
oh, the third act was easily the best of the three.
Yeah.
Obviously. That whole lightsaber fight. I think um, that's one thing that George Lucas got right in this film is the third act.
Yeah.
And that's what Star Wars fans want to see. They want to see the swing of the lightsabers
Yeah.
and
Which I know a lot of people love that. I just don't really get into this fight specifically, just because I feel like there's no like build. No, not build up, but like it doesn't go that deep. We don't know the characters that well. We don't know who Darth Maul is. It's just so we don't really care too much about the characters, or at least I don't really care too much about the characters. So it's not really intense. It's just you know you got
yeah.
a cool looking fight. That's all.
They don't really have any reason for like that whole Senate meeting in the Senate in the second act. Like, oh, all the senators are going to meet up from all the planets and they're going to explain stuff, and then that whole scene didn't make any sense.
It
And
really slowed down there.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
like,
Tatooine was slow too, but I was slow.
I
What
like the pod race. I
was
think that was good in the second act. I think that was good. And then right after that, it just slowed down and then it like went way up in the third act. It was really weird. Like
yeah,
movies don't do that. It was like you get your like rising action, your climax, and then your falling action. But like the climax of the film right, didn't happen until like the very end, and then there was like no falling action. It was just like
Yeah.
the climax and then the end. It was
Yeah.
weird. It was like there's this like climax and like this super low part and then this super high part and then the end. It was weird.
Which the end doesn't really make too much sense either. The whole like blowing ball thing
Yeah,
that
but what I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. At first, I thought it was like, the Gungans were using those blue ball things in the battle against the droid
Right.
army. I thought it was one of those, but it doesn't look like one of those. I don't
No.
know what that was.
And then like who was it? It was like someone gave it to Padme, and then Padme gave it to like the leader of the Gungans, and then the leader of the Gungans gave it to someone else, and I don't or gave it to like someone. I don't know. I was really confused throughout the whole thing. It was
Yeah,
kind of a chore to watch, and like
yeah,
I called you like a minute or like I was like an hour in the movie. It's like, dude, this movie doesn't make any sense. This movie sucks, and like, yeah, you're at the part that I hate, and ugh, it was a chore to watch.
it was. It just really slowed down there. It doesn't help that the actors are so wooden in this movie. Like, there's no emotion there at all.
Natalie Portman is so bad. She's so bad.
Yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong. She's hot, but she's just
she's
terrible.
yeah, uh, yeah, she's definitely one of the worst actors in this film. I think she gets a little bit better in the next two.
Yeah,
Not too much better, but a little bit better. You
there's
said
more emotion.
you like Liam Neeson in this film, right?
I do. I thought he was good.
Yeah, I thought he was all right. I mean,
Like,
still kind of work.
I get that there's no emotion, but that's not really Liam Neeson's character. I mean, maybe it could be. I think the best character in this film is Ewan McGregor. I think he's the
I
best. You look like you disagree.
he's all right. I don't know if he's the best. I mean, I'd have to think about this because I
Well, I
can.
just think there's not a lot to choose from.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So yeah, he could be the best. He gets a lot better too. Same with Natalie Portman, but he gets a lot better in the next two films. Like he's entertaining to watch in the next two films. Um, the dialogue, I don't think it really helps. George Lucas wrote the dialogue for all three of these films, and he's not a good writer.
Right.
I can't remember if he wrote the dialogue for Episode 4. He directed the film, but I can't remember if he wrote the dialogue for that film.
I don't. I'm not. I wouldn't think so. It's too good of a film.
Yeah.
I think it was just directed by him.
I think who played Palpatine?
Oh, I just had that up too.
Ian McDermott, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best parts about this film, or not really this film, but about the trilogy. Like,
Yeah, throughout the trilogy is
he,
fantastic.
yeah. Um, I was gonna say something like the most I don't know how to put this, least wooden character in this film. I think the most reactionary character in this film is Jar Jar Binks,
Yeah.
which says a lot about this film because he's like the worst character in this film too.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just a really weird situation.
so bad.
It is, man.
So I think let's wrap it up. I feel like there's nothing good we can say about this film. So just what?
Well, the score by John Williams, of course.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole the pod racing scene. I like that. I like. I
Yeah,
like that.
that's a really good one. You can't go wrong with John Williams.
No, no. I think the score helps this movie out a lot. I think if
Yeah.
it was like, a good score is a good score. You can't really say anything.
Yeah.
I think really people only talk about it if it's like a really bad score. Like the music doesn't make any sense with the movie, which I've seen movies that are like that. Not there's one specific one that I can't think of right now, but it didn't make any sense and it was terrible. Um, what do you rate this movie out of 10?
Uh, hmm, maybe 3 or 4.
I would give it a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So would you just in the how recently have you seen the other two prequels? Like how long has it
not
been?
recently at all.
Not recently. All right. Because I was going to ask you where you would rank this with the other two prequels.
I mean, the third one's obviously the best. I'd have to. I'm gonna give the second one.
The second one is bad too, in my opinion. The second one is just as bad as this one, maybe a little bit better. That's just for what I'd say about it. But I guess you'll have to watch that too another time just to.
Yeah, I could probably. I might watch that tomorrow or Saturday
Yeah.
Or Sunday.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is a good talk. I hope we can do this like a lot more often.
Yeah.
This is just like a thing we can do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
So I will talk to you later then. I'm just gonna
All right.
stop the recording.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.